Hey guys, what's going on? It's 2 Minutes to Review. I'm Matt.
And I'm Zach.
And if you haven't joined us for one of these before, essentially what we do is we are given an album to review, and the person with the longest album review in under 2 minutes wins.
Woo!
Zach, what album have we been given to listen to this week?
Well, Matt, are you ready to feel old?
You always say this like I'm ready.
Well, you should be. It's happening.
Yeah, I know. Day by day.
And I actually feel really old saying this too. But in the year 2020,
Hurry up, my tea's going cold.
Eminem's The Marshall Mathers LP turns 20 years old.
The first one.
Not the sequel.
The first
which
one.
does not exist for this purpose. But if you were actually even able to listen to music, not even like a music fan, even if you're young, you know this album. It was Eminem at the height of his career. He was the most controversial artist at the time. It was almost like a badge of honor to have this album. I mean, it sold millions of records just within its first week. And during a time when there was pop music from NSYNC, Britney Spears that was taking over the airwaves, Eminem came with a rap album that was so catchy yet so controversial, so scary and so frightening to the point where you could actually get in trouble for even holding a copy of this album. It was probably one of the most banned albums from in the schoolyard. I don't even think my parents, who are usually very open-minded, even allow me to have this album. I mean, I don't know if you even had this album.
Oh, no, I had this album. I know I had it.
I bet you had to hide it from your parents as well.
Actually, no, I don't think so.
No?
No, if I'm remembering correctly, this came out in 2000, so that means I was 16-ish? Yeah.
No, you were definitely younger.
No.
'Cause
2000 was the year before I graduated high school. So I got my driver's license my senior year, so I was 16.
Apparently, we are that much of an age gap between us. Because I remember like just ending 5th grade before going to middle school.
Get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
You all just
out.
realize how much of an age gap there is between me and Matt.
I'm going to turn your microphone off if you talk like that again.
But I just remember like literally like it was the coolest thing you could own. It was just such an, I mean, this is during a time when Columbine had just happened and a lot of people were quick to point the finger at something. It was really a controversial album. So we thought it would be a lot of fun for Matt and I 20 years later to review this album and to see how it held up over that time. So Matt, would you mind if I go first?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, let me know when the official Epic Footnote Productions timekeeper is ready.
You ready? Yeah? All right, we're good.
Okay. I am ready. That was a really bad pun to I am.
That was terrible.
Yeah, I know. Not great. Let me know. Count me down.
3, 2, 1. Here we go.
So as mentioned, at the time it came out, it was really criticized and just kind of almost banned because of how violent, homophobic, and misogynist the lyrics were. And 20 years later, I can confidently say that it hasn't held up well in regards to being more PC or not as bad. Listening to songs like Kill Me, Kim, the title track, or pretty much every single skit, quote unquote skit that was on this album, it still makes you kind of blush. Like it's still pretty, like if anything, it kind of makes you look back and going, man, this really, maybe parents were right. Maybe we shouldn't have been listening to this album, because it really comes off as violent and uncomfortable. And especially 20 years later, even today, I don't think an artist could release this album at all, which is kind of just shocking to think. But then it kind of is interesting, because then you hear the lyrics for the song Who Knew? And it starts off with the lyric, I don't make black music, I don't make white music, I make fight music for high school kids. And then the rest of the song is pretty much a defense of Eminem saying, I didn't know that I was going to be so big and inspire kids to do such violent acts. And also questioning, am I really to blame? And I actually think this song, Who Knew, really best summarizes what this album was and what it was intended for. It was intended for high schoolers with angst, maybe their angst was not justified. Maybe they really had a nice, cushy suburban life, or maybe they really were going through hard and disturbing times. And this album really was catered to the angry high school teenager who was looking to blow off steam. And then it's interesting. Then in complete contrast, because the most of the album is kind of that edginess, but then in complete contrast, you have a song like "Stand" that does still kind of hold up because it's an interesting dialogue between that crazy teenager fan who's taking the lyrics a little bit too much to heart and is about to kill his pregnant wife, or I'm sorry, his pregnant girlfriend. And then you have Eminem playing the voice of reason, going, "Don't take this too extreme. You have more." So it's interesting how he kind of tries to flip the script on that song as if to forgive everyone, have everyone forgive him for everything else that's going on in the album. In short, though, I mean, the music itself the production still holds up. The beats are great, and that's a huge testament to Dr. Dre as well as a lot of the other producers like the Bass Brothers. And it really does show, this is the best example of how Eminem is such a great rapper and performer. But it is a little bit harder to listen to it without kind of cringing at the extreme levels that the lyrics go into.
We have a time. And the star.
This is going to kind of... So that, like I said, the music, the beats, it really does hold up and is strong and is really great. But I really did get uncomfortable listening to the lyrics again, more so than as a kid. Like, I think maybe a lot of stuff kind of just went over my head when I first listened to it. But at this point in my life, I don't know if I would want my younger nephews and niece to hear it. So this might come as a shocking thing, but I'm giving it 3 stars.
Okay. Well, you have your reasons.
Yeah.
Now I got mine.
Kind of crazy. And it's funny because, like, I think if I had gone off of just memory of what I remember the album being, I would have given it a higher one. But the lyrics are as bad as some would make you think. That's my opinion. Matt, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you want to spit some hot fire rhymes to get you ready for this? Or do you want to spare everyone the pain of hearing you spit some hot fire rhymes?
I'm sitting in a chair and I'm staring at your hair. I'm wondering why the hell are we asking me to rhyme? Because I'm ready for you to count me down.
This is weird.
I know.
This got awkward.
That's it.
This got awkward
I got
real
nothing.
fast. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So I really enjoy this album. I mean, call me crazy, call me disturbed, call me what you will for loving this album, but I do. I just have so many memories of listening to this album. Yes, the lyrics are dark. This is probably one of Eminem's darkest albums. He really was going down a very tough road at the time with his ex Kim, and then finally coming up, being alongside of Britney Spears, the Backstreet Boys and whatnot. And, he of course does make fun of all of them like he does everywhere. But then you also have the one song that Zach didn't mention, The Real Slim Shady, which is his fun-loving song to get him onto TRL, onto the radio, and just be everywhere. And then the song with Dido and Stan. Actually, Dido really enjoyed the song when she was sent the song, because they put a note with it saying, we sampled your song. We hope you don't mind. Here's what we did with it. Let us know what you think. And she absolutely loved it and gave it the thumbs up. So that song might not have been greenlighted without her approval, but it's still a great song nonetheless. And then the song Bitch Please, I always love that one. It's Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Exhibit. I mean, hearing Exhibit now after doing Pimp My Ride is kind of weird, but I still love that track. The beats and everything. I think Eminem kind of goes off kilter on this album a little bit. Like, not all of the rhymes are as, clean and as poised as they are on other albums. I think he intentionally kind of goes off the rails a little bit. And it works on this album because of its darker, grittier vibe. I think having rhymes that are slightly off time work, and the time signatures that he does use for his rhymes are great. And Eminem still is a great lyricist on this album, from the standpoint that he has one of the largest vocabularies in hip-hop then and now. And I still think that, to me, this album is a timeless classic from Eminem.
Time has been recorded, sent over to our official Epic Footnote judges for clarification and for confirmation.
All right, guys, what do you think?
Hi,
Looks
Ted.
good?
All right, we'll hold on to the results. We'll
Okay.
get that back in a second. Ranking.
I'm going to give this one, because it's not my favorite Eminem album, and I think that there are areas where he kind of loses me a little bit. I'm going to give this one 4 stars.
4 stars.
I love this album. And like I said, call me disturbed, call me what you will, but I really enjoy him on this. And just thinking about all the other albums that came out at the time, there was nothing else like this.
Oh, absolutely.
Besides the violence factor in it. But just listening from a pure music and rhyme and beat perspective, what Eminem and Dr. Dre managed to put down on this album was completely outside of what everybody else was doing at the time. Because if you think about it, like, I think Outkast, I think they put out Stankonia that year.
They did.
Very different sound, very southern hip hop R&B type sound. I'm trying to think of like a few other albums. I think Ja Rule put one out. That was Ja Rule being more friendly in hip hop at that point in time.
It was an uncompromising album.
It was
from start to finish,
and
in
it
every
was-
way possible.
And that's what I think makes it so good, is that it is uncompromising. Now, whether or not you take this to heart, what he says, and you follow along with what he's saying, I think makes you a sheep, and I think it makes you very susceptible to his messages, and you should be your own person. Like, that's what he's trying to, I think, say, that he's just who he is. Let me be me. That's, I think, a huge takeaway, not only from the album, but us as humans. Just be who you are.
I guess, I mean, I agree in that regards to the music itself. It's surprising at how well that has held up, and the production. And I was taken aback just by like hearing it again after so many years. The lyrics did take me aback a little bit, and how it was delivered. I think that also is a testament to how strong of an album it still is, that even 20 years after it first came out, it can still make you feel a little uncomfortable. Which
And it did its job.
It did, which is exactly what it wanted to do too. It didn't want to just give you an album that you can like enjoy while driving around. It wanted to make you feel uncomfortable, whether it was to make you feel the same pain that Eminem was going through at the time, or just to make a bunch of high schoolers who will buy your album feel something more than just buying a CD,
Right.
to actually create a fan base. But our opinions don't really matter. You know what really matters though, Matt?
Is the time that Ted recorded.
Yes, Ted. Oh, Ted's sleeping. Oh, Ted.
Where did we find him?
I thought he was your friend.
No.
I don't know him. You know what? We'll come back to Ted in a minute, but okay, we got the results. Thankfully, I jotted it down because I knew Ted wasn't reliable. Matt, what was my time?
Your time might be the all-time highest time we've ever had. 3 minutes and 3 seconds. You went a little over.
Just a little. Ugh. This is...
I could have just said this album's great and be done with it.
Well, Matt, your time was 2 minutes and 14 seconds. So you didn't do much
all
better.
right.
We both lost
We both lost. However, you lost in the greatest fashion.
because you listened to us.
You went down in flames. You went down in flames.
Oh, but that's not even from this album.
Doesn't
you
matter.
jerk.
You just went down in flames.
Ugh, you just lose yourself.
That's not from this album either.
Yeah, but you opened the gates for it. Well, anyway.
Bitch, please.
Oh, that got awkward. You see? Hasn't aged well. What do you think? Do you still listen to Marshall Mathers LP? Do you feel it has aged well? Does it still make you feel a little uncomfortable? Let us know what you think of this album 20 years later on Epic Footnotes, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any social media that you can imagine. We want to hear from you. And we thank you guys so much for listening. We hope that you join us for another episode real soon.
Peace.